Bleach chapter 552, the fundamental virulence. I don't know what virulence means. I feel kind of stupid now. Anyway, the chapter begins with Cang actually arriving to finish off Toshiro. Of course, Basby does not like this at all, but Cang told him that Yoabok said that they have to kill the captains that they stole the bankais from. Meaning that the stern reachers who stole the bankais from the captains, they gotta be the ones to finish them off. They gotta be the ones to kill them. So then Basby just lets him do it. Now, some of you guys are wondering where the hell was Rangiku and why hasn't she shown up to help save Toshiro? Well, here's the thing. Cang got to Rangiku pretty quickly. I don't know like what he did, but I think he used his Wolverine claws to slash right near her neck, and just by looking at her, she's not doing so good. I don't know if she's dead, but she's got like a blank expression on her face. It looks like she's dead. I don't know. It's too early to tell. So Cang thought it would be nice if he reunited Rangiku to Toshiro, since, you know, both captains and lieutenants of the same squad, and they both cherish each other as, you know, captain and lieutenants. Now, we know that his letter is I, and the I stands for iron. So, since the letters represent their abilities, iron, maybe it's got something to do with his iron Wolverine claws, or he can manipulate iron or something like that. I don't know. Probably got something to do with the claws that he has. Anyway, he has a motto in life saying that things that live together should die together, which he thought would be appropriate that the captain and the lieutenant will die side by side together. Now, to add insult to injury, Cang activates Daigira and Hyorinmaru, Toshiro's bankai, right in front of him. Now, he does say that his bankai was actually pretty glorious, but he said that this was something that once lived together with Toshiro. And he said that stealing this bankai from you and allowing it to live on long after your demise truly breaks my heart, because of his motto, die together, live together. So knowing that his Hyorinmaru is gonna live on, well, his bankai at least is gonna live on while Toshiro dies, it was kind of sad to him. But he doesn't really finish him off. I mean, you think that, okay, that's enough talk, bye-bye Toshiro, kills him? No. Instead, we had to cut back to the research department, or what's left of it, and we see Mayuri talking to Urahara. Now, in the previous chapter, Urahara came up with a way to get the bankais that were stolen back to the captains. Now, according to Urahara, he actually found a weak spot on the method of stealing the bankais. Mayuri figured that Urahara put in a wired bug in his clothes without his permission. But here's the thing. This whole time, Urahara was in Hueco Mundo. And ever since the previous invasion, Mayuri was in his office making these clothes. So when the hell did Urahara had time to put that bug inside Urahara's new clothing? Unless this was probably before he left Soul Society. He figured, like, you know, during the pendulum arc, he would put some bugs on Mayuri's clothing and spy on him right before he was exiled or something. I don't know. Now, he was gonna turn off the wired bug on his clothing, but nope! Urahara shows up through the Senkai mode. He was actually calling on his way from here through the Dangai. I thought that was kind of funny. Like, he was acting all panicked and didn't want Mayuri to turn off the communication, but it was all a joke. But here's the thing, while this is going on, where the hell is Askin Naklavar? Did he really leave? That would explain, like, so much why Askin is not there and trying to attack, you know, prevent them from getting the bankais back. Gee, nice going, Askin. If you'd stayed there and fought against Urahara and Mayuri, maybe you'd have a fighting chance of delaying them from getting their bankais back. Good job. Even though Mayuri is very reluctant, they are going to team up to get the bankais back. But the office, what's left of the research department, it has been ruined beyond repair because of the Quincy's handiwork. But Urahara said that he still had that available. I'm assuming he's referring to the room, Mayuri's office. Maybe it's like a secret lab of his own. That room was still shining with light, and it was the only one that's not affected by the Quincy shadow, so obviously Mayuri knew about that. So they're trying to create a communication link to all the captains and lieutenants all across the Serete. And Urahara shows Mayuri his new latest invention, the Shineyaku, which is called the Shadow Invading Pills. Those are going to be used to get the bankais back and stop the stealing method from the Stern Reachers. Now, while he was staying in Huecamundo, since he decided to stay a little longer because of the bankais getting stolen from the captains, he actually learned a couple of things while in his stay in Huecamundo. And we actually learned a little bit more about the quincies themselves. So, apparently the Rankar's resurrection is the equivalent to bankai. Okay, then how do you explain like the second resurrection forms like Ukiora had? Is that like a second bankai? I don't know. I always thought resurrection was a shikai and the bankai equivalent would have been the segunda resurrection. I think that's what it's called. Rankar's resurrection is an ability that allows the Rankar to manifest their soul's energy into a blade. Then there would be no reason why the quincies can steal a Rankar's resurrection just like they stole a Shinigami's bankai. But instead, they captured a couple of Rankars and used them as soldiers, like we've seen with Ivan, and I'm assuming Lotus Freegan was one. I mean, why else would he get killed? So because of this, Urahara came up with two reasons. Reason number one is that they cannot steal a resurrection, or reason number two, it would be a total dishonor to steal a resurrection from an Rankar. And because of Urahara's research, Stern Reachers are capable of stealing an Rankar's resurrection. So Mayuri assumed that it was the second option. The rest of the Shinigami from the research department managed to create a Tente Kura to communicate all of the Shinigami outside the Serete. So with that, Urahara managed to get this message right out to everybody. They actually managed to transfer the black pills all across the Serete. The weird thing is, in one panel, Omaida had a black pill. So I'm like, either this was meant for soy fun, or Omaida really has a bankai. Since when did he have a bankai, and why hasn't he ever used it before? Not since like Stern Reachers, but like way back. So what the hell? Anyway, through this message, not only did he transfer all the black pills to all the Shinigami, but he said that if you touch it with your hand, your foot, or with a sword, it will be absorbed right into your soul. Which is, Toshiro luckily got one, and he managed to touch it, and it got absorbed into his soul. Now, how this is going to work is actually explained further by Urahara and Mayuri. Throughout time, Quincy's have always this tradition to eradicate hollows. And they had this like sort of continued resentment ever since the very beginning. And the reason why they had this was because basic instinct that kicks in when one's very existence is in jeopardy. Unlike the Shinigamis, they cannot hollowfy. When they're infected by a hollow, their Ryatsu weakens, their powers weaken, and they will eventually die because the hollows are poison to the quincies. Now that I think about it, if it wasn't for Urahara helping Misaki would have died and we would have no Ichigo. You're welcome, fans. They deemed the hollows a threat because they could kill them and not hollowfy them, which was why the quincies felt like they have to just exterminate all the hollows. Which is why when they kill a hollow, their soul of the hollow just completely disappears. They aren't like cleansed unlike the Shinigami. So the black pills, since they're absorbed into a Shinigami's essence, they actually hollowfy the bankais. And if the bankais are hollowfied, they are poison to the Stern Reachers. And the chapter ends with Cang actually getting what looks like one of his wings cut or something. Anyway, blood was coming out of his back, and that is where the chapter ends. So yeah, that is Bleach chapter 552. What did I think? Well, actually, I did like this chapter because we get to learn a little bit more about the quincies and why they never actually stole a resurrection. It was because if they have like a hollow power, it's completely poison to them. Yeah, this chapter was very informative, and it was too bad Cang should have finished off Toshiro while he had the chance, because of this, Tiger and Hiromaru has now been hollowfied, even if it was momentarily, and is now being injured. But here's the thing, if the bankais are now poisonous towards the Stern Reachers, so it's probably going to apply to also Bambietta, Asnot, and BG9. But does this affect happen only if the Stern Reacher activates the bankai, because what if they still have them in the medallion? Unless, because of the hollow essence inside the bankais that were hollowfied by the black pills, maybe it was because of that. The medallions would not work because of this. It would be totally ineffective, and maybe that's how they would get the bankai back. I'm not sure. But then again, how the hell do you get a bankai back after a Stern Reacher gets injured by one? Did they extract that out of the Stern Reacher and heads back towards the shinigami? I don't know. So there's a chance that Toshiro is going to get his bankai back. But here's the thing. He's still injured from Burning Finger 2. So even with his bankai back, he's still got to deal with those injuries. And as for Rangiku, don't know what's going to happen to her. And we still haven't seen Soifun, so we still have no idea what happened to her either. So, like, is Toshiro going to be okay when he gets his bankai back or something? Because he's still got to deal with the injury. Also, their top healing captain is dead. I don't know, like, how Toshiro's going to survive this. But this is actually a pretty good strategy on behalf of Urahara. He came up with a way to affect the bankais and get them back. I mean, apparently quincies can not survive if they get attacked by a hollow. Because if they do, they will die. And their souls will wither into nothing. Their Ryatsu would totally disappear. So that's why they had to kill all the hollows. Because they deemed hollows as a threat, because the hollows can kill the quincies. That makes sense. And with the bankais being hollowfied momentarily, they could not use the bankais unless otherwise they would die. That was also why they couldn't steal the Resurrection, because the Resurrections are the Rankar's equivalent to a bankai. The Rankars are hollows with shinigami powers, so even if they have a Resurrection, they would also die from it because they came from hollows. So yeah, this was very informative and interesting. Now, how are they going to get the bankais back now? That's what I want to see, the method of getting them back. Now that we know the method of them not using the bankais and probably not getting them, stealing them from the other shinigami, that's something interesting to see. But we still gotta wait further to see if this is gonna change the tide, if this is gonna turn the tides between the battle of the shinigami and the quincies. I mean, are the shinigami now, they have this advantage, will they win? Are they actually going to kill Stern Reacher? We don't know. We'll just have to wait and see in next week's chapter. So overall, this was a very informative chapter, but it was still good. And I actually am looking forward to more. I'm going to Spider-Man 27, and I will see you guys later. Bye.